Reporter Sam Green is at Staples Corners now. Sam, what's gone wrong here?
Well, this stretch of road really should have been opened 16 weeks ago, as you said. There should be 50,000 cars a day going up and down. Security experts seem to agree that short of turning the area around Heathrow into the modern equivalent of a medieval walled city, it's virtually impossible to rule out future terrorist attacks. The appeal of a steam train is universal. Well, on a freezing day in the capital, this is the perfect place to be, bang in front of a roaring fire. And recent Labour support for private investment in the public sphere seems to open the way for a whole host of similar schemes. Right, while I'm at the stables, I've just got time for a quick gallop before heading off for home. OK, P2, let's go. Where's the start button? When Simon and Lorraine Thistlethwaite found more than £35,000 in used £50 notes, it put cars like this within their reach.
They were used £50 notes, and I just felt really ill.
Well, I haven't got £35,000 either, so back to the bus.
British Rail will be broken up into an assortment of companies. Sam Green has been finding out what the changes might mean for travellers.
The consequences of tonight's changes won't be felt for some time. The trains are staying the same, the timetable's the same, even the ham sandwiches are the same. For now, the changes are purely administrative. A new company, Railtrack, will be responsible for the track and stations, and there are 11 new companies in the southeast running the trains.
Franchising will be a relatively slow process over a number of years, and the public will see, before the next general election, an improvement in the quality and quantity of rail services that they are offered.
Rail experts warn of problems for the government's policy.
The Treasury is hell-bent on reducing the amount of money going into the railways. The private sector is supposed to make up the difference, but this is proving very difficult indeed to arrange, and nobody really knows the terms on which it can be done.
Rail unions are predicting dire consequences.
And it's very important to London and the South East. What you're going to see is fewer passengers travelling in older trains at much higher fares. That's what the impact is going to be in the longer term.
Privatisation provokes strong reactions among passengers.
People who are going to sort of get interested in it are going to be looking for fastback. Trains and public transport are public services. Should be subsidised. By privatising things, you usually get a better service.
Rail privatisation is already considered a vote loser in the southeast, but the government say that as parts of the service are privatised over the next couple of years, the public will come round to their way of thinking. If they're proved wrong, they'll pay the price at the ballot box at the next general election. At Waterloo, this is Sam Green for London Tonight.
Sam Green joined the celebrations.
Fashion has come a long way in the last 30 years. In 1964, miniskirts still shocked. Harold Wilson was the country's leading politician. The Beatles were in undisputed control of the pop charts, and a new concept in furniture was born. Sir Terence Conran felt it was time to furnish the country with his own idea of style.
Well, I'd seen a few of the fashion designers, people like Mary Quant, doing adventurous things in their area, and I thought, well, I could do the same in furnishing.
It's exactly 30 years since Habitat threw open its doors to the beanbag generation. The store was christened by an ex-model called Pagan. To celebrate the anniversary, selected items were on sale today at their 1964 price, an offer that ensured mammoth queues outside the Tottenham Court Road branch this morning. As far as the staff at the King's Road Habitat are concerned, we're still living in the 1960s. What do you think Harold Wilson's like as a Prime Minister? The Stones or the Beatles?
Well, I think the Beatles, definitely, yeah.
Sir Terence sold the chain a few years ago. He's beginning to feel it could be time to launch a 90s version.
The world has changed so dramatically, and the opportunities now are so fantastic. I wish I was really beginning again.
Well, words like fab, hip and groovy may have gone the way of free love and the Morris Minor, and few people wear clothes quite as ridiculous as these. But after 30 years, it seems the furniture is still selling. At Habitat, this is Sam Green for London Tonight.
The Police Complaints Authority was immediately called in to begin an independent inquiry into the tragic incident. Sam Green reports.
Distraught relatives pay their last respects to Kwande Slisba. She was trying to flee to the balcony below her 12th-storey flat when she fell to her death. Police and bailiffs were calling at the flat in the early morning to serve a summons on someone else. The first they knew of Miss Lisbeth, known to friends as Princess, was when they were told she'd fallen to the ground. Her arm was encased in plaster, but it's thought she'd climbed down the outside block before. Neighbours say she might have thought the officers were connected with the immigration service. An inquiry headed by Philip Thomas, who's Assistant Chief Constable of West Midlands Police, has been launched.
There's about 15 coming down initially, including forensic officers, our own scenes of crime officers, intelligence officers, homes computer officers, a deputy to myself and investigators.
The Police Complaints Authority stressed that no complaint was actually made, that the Metropolitan Police called them in immediately. The West Midlands squad will now take over the entire investigation. In Islington, this is Sam Green for London Tonight.
Sam Green is at King's Cross Station now. Sam.
Well, Anna Maria, for commuters, it never rains but it pours. Services here would be running perfectly normally by now, were it not for that 24-hour stoppage due to start in an hour and a half's time. Now, on Monday and Tuesday of next week, there's another 2-day stoppage. So those are the man-made problems. Let's have a look at those caused by nature. We may have moaned about the hot weather, but last night's rain gave commuters something else to complain about. A month's worth of rain in 2 hours proved too much for the tube system. At King's Cross, where 250,000 people normally pass through every day, flooding closed the underground station.
As you can see from the puddle of water that's underneath it, it would be extremely dangerous to operate this machine. There's 600 volts of electricity that actually pass through it.
29 stations were closed at some stage. At others, like Victoria, services were drastically reduced. Major sections of the District, Circle, Central, Hammersmith and City lines were closed. Weary commuters were philosophical.
What can you expect? A sudden flash flood and everybody's caught unprepared for it.
It's the wrong sort of rain, isn't it?
London Underground say that without a flood of government money, they'll never be able to replace the antiquated pumping equipment that couldn't handle the downpour.
We can always do with more. We have to live with what we've got available because the pit, I'm afraid, is not bottomless.
Drivers seem to fare little better with the soggy conditions. Roads turned into fords and there was a dramatic increase in accidents. Overflowing drains turned these cellars in Shepherd's Bush into cesspits. But every cloud has a silver lining.
It's lovely. I've been suffering badly from hay fever. It's the first time I've been able to breathe in weeks.
And in Southend, they ignored the rotten weather and carried on eating their ice creams. Appropriate headgear, of course.
Sam Green reports.
If you found it tricky to find a cab in the capital today, it could be because the Queen Mother sent almost 80 of them off to Normandy this morning. The cabs are carrying 160 veterans who last saw the beaches of northern France from landing craft.
We lay our poppies, we lay our poppy wreaths, our crosses, and we also visit the German cemetery. Because they had to fight the same as we did.
Every year, black cab drivers organise a trip for veterans. 50 years on from the Normandy landings, this year's had to be special. It's taken 2 years to plan.
Can I have another cab from down there, down here? We are saying in a practical way, if you like, that although we weren't there, we didn't see their pain and we didn't see all they went through, they will never be forgotten as far as we're concerned.
No World War II event would be complete without Dame Vera Lynn.
Are you going with them, Dame Vera?
No, I've just come back.
After the weekend invasion by the world's press, now it's the turn of the London taxi. For the next few days, Normandy will be full of black cabs, taking veterans back to the sites of half a century ago. At Horse Guards Parade, this is Sam Green for London Tonight.